Today, we're unpacking a fascinating story straight out of India's Silicon Valley that's got the internet completely buzzing. If you've ever rented an apartment in a major city, you know the drill, right? Skyrocketing prices, endless compromises, and that nagging feeling you might be paying way too much for, well, just the zip code. We're going to break down this viral case study from Bengaluru, which was recently reported in the Economic Times about a tech professional who literally hit their breaking point. It's a story about peer pressure, real estate reality checks, and financial awakenings. Okay, let's dive into this and look at the actual numbers that sparked the whole shebang.
45,000 rupees. I mean, that is a staggering amount of money, right? And yet, in this story, it was just flying out of our protagonist's bank account every single month. But here's the kicker. This premium price tag, it wasn't for a sprawling penthouse or some luxurious family home. No way. This massive chunk of change was the monthly rent for a tiny single bedroom, a 1 BHK apartment. It really sets the stage for understanding the sheer financial pressure that's building up on young professionals in these highly sought-after urban neighborhoods.
And then the math hits you. 2.4 million rupees, 24 lakhs. To put that into perspective, this isn't the price of a home. This is the total income our renter realized they had completely drained away over the years. Just let that sink in for a second. This is hard-earned savings. We're talking about the kind of money that could be a down payment, a solid investment portfolio, or a massive safety net entirely swallowed up by rent. This massive 24 lakh realization, that was the exact punch to the gut that changed absolutely everything for our renter.
Section 1. The 45K rental trap.
So, to understand how someone ends up pouring 24 lakhs into a 1 BHK, we have to look at this Bengaluru-based professional working at PayPal. Going by the username MilkyClick, they took to the popular workplace community platform Grapevine to vent their frustrations. Like a lot of working folks in the city, MilkyClick had moved to a neighborhood where rents have just skyrocketed over the past few years. You know how it is. They were kind of trying to do what everyone else seemed to be doing, living close to the social hubs, the action, all of that. But eventually, the math just stopped making sense, and they decided to share their breaking point with the community.
Their post kicked off with this exact declaration. Goodbye, HSR layout. Paying 45K rent for a 1 BHK is absolute madness. Now, this direct quote really anchors our whole narrative. HSR layout is one of Bengaluru's most popular, bustling, and yes, expensive neighborhoods. It's famous for its startup culture, the cafes, that vibrant lifestyle. But as MilkyClick rightly points out, paying 45K for a single bedroom in this area crosses the line from a premium lifestyle choice straight into what they call absolute madness.
Section 2. A 24 lakh wake-up call.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the specific phrasing MilkyClick uses, fake aesthetic. They wrote, "I have to admit, I am completely exhausted by the fake aesthetic. It drained a 24L income that I was trying hard to save up by myself." They didn't just say the rent was too high, they pointed out that what they were paying for was essentially an illusion. They were totally burnt out trying to keep up appearances in a trendy spot. This wasn't just about paying for shelter anymore. It was about paying a premium for a lifestyle trend that ultimately wiped out 24 lakhs of income they were desperately trying to save. It's a pretty powerful realization about how chasing an aesthetic can quietly sabotage your financial future.
And hey, if you think paying top dollar guarantees a flawless living situation, check out this reality check. MilkyClick visited 15 different apartments during their hunt. Out of those 15, only 3 even looked decent. And out of those 3, get this, only one single apartment had regular water supply. Literally one. Let that sink in. This brilliantly illustrates just how broken, artificially inflated the housing market felt. You're paying an absolute premium, and you still have to cross your fingers just to get running water. It's wild.
Moving on to Section 3, Escaping the HSR Bubble.
With the reality of the situation completely laid bare, that frustration finally turned into action. The escape plan started with a simple intervention. A coworker recommended a neighborhood called Brookefield and invited MilkyClick to check it out. Soon after, they were touring properties, hashing out budgets with a broker, and uncovering this eye-opening contrast in value. Within just a few days, they had a draft agreement signed in a peaceful society way further away from the hype. Finally, they spent a tiring but honestly super relieving Sunday packing up their stuff. It was a systematic, highly practical exit plan.
When you put the two realities side by side, the contrast is incredibly sharp. On one hand, you have the old neighborhood HSR layout, which MilkyClick characterized by a peer-pressured, fake aesthetic and absolutely terrible traffic. On the other hand, you have their new reality in Brookefield, a peaceful society grounded in sheer common sense and practical financial viability. It highlights the exact trade-off they were willing to make. They basically traded the trendy bubble for peace of mind and financial sanity.
That entire journey boils down to one super powerful lesson from MilkyClick. They said, so you just require a single moment of clarity no matter what the trend dictates. And honestly, that is absolutely crucial. It's so easy to get swept up in what everyone else is doing, where everyone else is living, and what society says is worth it. But all it takes is one clear look at your finances and your actual day-to-day quality of life to break that spell. You just have to prioritize your own health and wealth over following the crowd.
Section 4. The Internet Divided. Let's move to Ghana and see how this builds into a much larger conversation.
Because the moment MilkyClick posted this realization online, it sparked a massive societal debate. The reactions from netizens perfectly captured the complex reality of urban renting. I mean, a lot of people were in absolute shock that anyone would drop $45,000 for a 1 BHK. Some even argued, hey, $50,000 gets you a much larger 2.5 BHK in that exact same area, kind of questioning the specific places MilkyClick looked at. Others completely related to the financial relief, sharing their own stories of escaping trendy spots like JP Nagar for more spacious areas like Yelahanka. But here's where it gets interesting. There was also a really strong defense of the high rent. Some users argue that paying a premium to live a stone's throw from the office is entirely justified if it saves you from hours of commuting and chronic issues like back pain, especially for folks with heavy workloads. So it's a very real tug-of-war between protecting your savings and optimizing your daily physical convenience.
Section 5. Trend versus common sense. Zooming all the way out here, this isn't just a story about one person moving apartments in Bengaluru. It is a fundamental lesson for urban professionals everywhere. MilkyClick ended up reflecting on their own choices with this striking level of honesty, writing, "Peer pressure really makes you do crazy things, but I am glad I finally woke up." They openly admitted that choosing the trendy location was a terrible financial decision driven entirely by the influence of people around them. It really makes you pause, right? You kind of have to wonder how many of our own major financial commitments are genuinely for our own benefit, and how many are just us quietly trying to keep up with the people around us.
And that leaves us with a final provocative thought. Are you paying for a lifestyle, or are you just paying for peer pressure? Whether you value a short commute to protect your physical health, or you value moving further out to protect your savings, the absolute key is making sure the choice is actually yours. You got to make sure the math makes sense for your future, not just for your social feed. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer. I really hope this deep dive into the rental trap gave you your own